Of course, in Erudef Forum, we take you around the world of the environment. In a world plagued with numerous environmental problems, it is unnecessary. Unfortunately, we have the Erudef Forum. On the mic, I am Shisira. You're welcome to this platform, and this is gonna be we gonna be seeing us for the next 1 hour on your TV screens. And believe me, it is gonna be a wonderful time. Let's go catch a breather. When we come back, we introduce to you the topic of the day and the guest. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is to Erudef Forum. Yes, when we talk Erudef, we talk the Erudef Institute, we talk the Erudef, the organization as well. For those of you who might not be up to date, the Erudef is an organization with a baby institution that is EAPS, the Erudef University Institute of Applied Biodiversity. And by the way, admissions are still going on for those of you who might be passionate about environmental programs. But yes, today we are talking a bit more about Erudef as an organization that has been existing for the past 25 years. And for somebody to be here to talk about us, it must be somebody who had a dream, somebody who began, somebody who nurtured the dream. And Erudef is 25 years today. Talking about somebody, it is definitely the CEO and president himself. And of course, it is Mr. Kembi Lewis. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon, madam.
It is a pleasure having you on this program.
Same.
And how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Okay, now we're talking Erudef at 25. It is a milestone. First of all, I want to say a big congratulations. You know, we've had people who have begun initiatives and it does not even run for up to years. Talk less of tonight, some things to congratulate you on that.
Yeah, I think I'm proud alongside the founding team.
Yes.
We conceived this in 1998, and that a few of us have gone ahead, and most of us are still there, watching to see the turn of the quarter of a century.
Definitely. Now we're talking 25. What inspired its inception in the first place?
Um, we are in the 21st century, and it was all known globally in the scientific world, contemporary science world, that the 21st century is the greatest century where species go extinct.
Okay.
And so we conceived this from the scientific perspective, that we intend and we wanted to also contribute to reducing species extinction.
Okay, now before now you spoke of a team. Did you consider as an individual, or you had a group of people who, or did you just sit and then you had this idea and then you spoke about it to some people and they were like, okay, let's do this, or you began before people saw that, okay, this man has a very good idea, maybe we should join the initiative?
Yeah, I conceived it. I conceived it initially 5 years ago. That was 1994.
Okay.
As a research program, and I found out that it was not going to be so to sell.
Yes,
so I needed to move away from the research program to a platform called the NGO, and so I had to bring on board a certain number of people. 5 years later, with whom we created the organization. Erudef.
And so far, it is 25 years. I must say, you know, they say nothing comes easy. You definitely have had challenges, but now I want to talk about what has been your greatest milestone so far, Mr. Luis.
I think the greatest milestone has been the fact that the organization has survived for 25 years.
Yeah, definitely. That's already a proof.
So
I mean, before anything, that is the result in your words, as you would always say. The first milestone is existence.
Its existence. He has gone through turbulent times.
Yes, definitely.
And yes, there. This second thing, we exist to reduce, to mitigate species extinction.
Okay.
So we have been able to create a number of protected and communal local area reserves to protect some of these species. We're working on some of the largest connectivities in Central Africa.
Okay.
650,000 hectares in eastern Cameroon, and I think it's one of the biggest outfit for us. We're working on a number of other projects in Western Cameroon.
Yeah.
On gorillas, on frogs, on the elephants. We are working on restoring one of the most degraded ecosystems, Mount Bambutus.
Yeah, talking about Mount Bambutus, can you just please tell us, because as according to what you say, I understand that Erudef is not only in Cameroon, it is operating in different landscapes in Africa and maybe even beyond Africa. Now, what are some particular landscape? What are some landscapes your organization is operating in?
Yeah, I've just mentioned of Mount Bambutus.
Yes.
Where we're working to restore the depleted species of birds, amphibians, and that have existed there for something years ago. We're working in the Libilam Highlands, where we're focused on the crossover gorillas.
Yes.
And the Nigerian Cameroon chimpanzees. We're working in the Nkonsamba Mbu landscape, where we're focused on protecting the Goliath frog. That is the king of all the frogs.
Okay.
Goliath frog is about 3 kilograms or more.
Wow.
So it's the largest frog in the world.
And it's found in Cameroon.
Yeah.
Wow.
In the east, we're looking at Eastern Cameroon landscape, We're looking at the connectivity between gorillas, chimpanzees, elephants, Eastern Cameroon going into Central Africa. We are also looking currently at the connectivity in the Lake Chad Basin. Lake Chad Basin has 8 countries engaged in the landscape, and we're looking at how to reconnect all of these landscapes through riparian forest buffers. We recently set up the office in Ghana for West Africa, because we're looking at the Upper Guinea forest. It's one of the biggest landscapes in terms of biodiversity species, rich species.
Yes.
And we are working to build up the landscape. And definitely we are also going to the Oceanic Islands in the Gulf of Guinea, where islands are some of the most endemic locations where you have endemic species.
Yes.
From my talk, you understand that Erudef focus is saving species at risk.
Yes.
So
not any kind of species, not particular species that are at risk.
Yes, and we enter into landscape for those species first before we begin to talk any other thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I want to understand, how has Erudef evolved, and what adjustments have you made to address changing environmental and rural development needs? Because I would say, well, as an individual, as a CEO, before beginning an organization, you definitely had your vision. But I believe that with time, things have changed, as things have evolved. So what changes have you made to address the changing environmental and rural development needs? And we might want to say that the problems we had in 2002 are not necessarily the problems we have as of 2024.
You're right. Again, our focus, our initial pre-Erudef years were focused looking at the ecology of food crops, especially the cocoyam food crop in the Lebilem division. You will want to know that Louis Nkembe comes from the Lebilem division.
Okay.
And one of the biggest problems at the time was the fact that cocoyams, the biggest income earner for the women at the time, was suffering from this phytophthora disease.
Okay.
And it was incumbent upon me to find solutions to this. And 5 years later, our focus changed from purely agronomic to now wildlife.
And how far were you able to, to stop the cocoyam issue?
We did not complete our research work, but the preliminary results show that if we grow cocoyams in moist climate, in microclimate means you create a subclimate for the cocoyams.
Okay.
If you grow cocoyams under shade, you will definitely have lesser infection rates of the disease.
But I believe that before then they had been doing whatever they were doing and they were still doing. So what happened at that particular time that they had to face that particular problem?
Well, climatic change and everything.
Okay.
The rate of deforestation was increasing, and most of the crops were suffering from direct hits of sunlight.
Okay. I understand. So now you said by 2005 years later you moved to something else?
So the organization was created focus on saving wildlife species, and that's where we continued focused. And in the last 10 years, we moved again to what we now call the landscape and ecosystem models.
Okay.
In landscape and ecosystem models, we're looking at everything inside the landscape. But what drives us into the landscape is the species.
The species.
If the species is there at risk, we come there. But in terms of managing the ecosystem and the landscape, we do it for everything that we find inside there.
Yes, because I believe that for you to manage the species, the species, it is about where the species lives in the first place. So if you're conserving the landscape, you are conserving the species as well.
Secondly, there will be many other species that have not yet been discovered.
Okay.
So in working from the perspective of ecosystem and landscape, it will give us opportunity to discover new species. It will also give us opportunity to handle human issues.
Yes.
Because
definitely.
species don't live in isolation. They live with human beings. So we need to work with human beings, with other actors in the environment to manage, to ensure that the species survive.
That the first things first is the species,
Yes.
before now the community.
Yeah.
Yes, of course, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are just tuning in, this is High TV, and at this particular time, you have the Erudef Forum. Yes, let's go catch a breather. When we come back, we continue with Erudef at 25. Remember, before we talk about Erudef now, let's go back to where it began. Let's go catch a breather. When we come back, we continue from where we ended. Welcome back, dear televiewers, and thank you for staying tuned to High TV and the Erudef Forum. Yes, today we're talking about Erudef at 25, and I am, of course, with the guest, the right CEO and president of Erudef, the organization, Erudef, the institution. Now, sir, we go back. Now, you said the initial thing that takes you to a landscape or community is the species. But apart from the species, there is a community, there are people. Now, can you share some notable success stories or case studies demonstrating Erudef's positive impact? Maybe randomly from any of your landscapes, or maybe all of them.
I said we assess the impact of Erudef from whether we save species or ecosystems, not from how many schools we construct.
Okay.
Not from how many homes we have been able to provide food.
Okay.
Those are secondary. Our assessment is how many hectares of rainforest we have saved.
Yeah, and how many have you been
and
able
how
to do
many
so far?
species therein we are saving.
Okay.
These are the primary issues. So, as I said, we have created protected areas in the Libelem area.
Okay.
Both community conserved areas, which we call community forests, and government conserved areas that we call protected areas.
Yeah.
We're working on the 13,000 hectares of transforming Mount Bamotus into a protected area.
Okay.
In the east, we're working on the 620,000 hectares of area that we are creating connectivity, linking chimpanzees, elephants, and gorillas from the Ndende National Park to the Njara Reserve and to the Greater Congo. We are working on the elephant corridor from Mount Cameroon through Ndian into the Libelem Division and hopefully into Sanctuary Wildlife Reserve, the westernmost location of African forest elephants.
Okay.
And so we're working to create a 12,000 hectares of Goliath frog sanctuary in the Nkonsamba area. It's going to be the only protected area for Goliath frog across all of Africa.
Now, so when you make mention of, protected areas, sanctuary, what is the difference for the viewers?
The sanctuary is one of the types of protected areas. We have national park. Mount Cameroon is a national park. That means it's totally conserved, totally protected.
Yes.
The sanctuary is protected, but not in its entirety.
Okay.
People have the right to harvest some of the things,
but not to hunt.
But not to hunt.
Okay.
So a sanctuary is a lesser form of protection compared to a national park, compared to an integral ecological reserve.
Okay.
These are sites that you must never even enter there for any human activity.
Okay.
So we have community forests that are totally managed by the local people.
Okay.
We are also, so we call them community conserved areas.
Because it belongs to the people.
It belongs to the people, and we are creating 52,000 of such areas in eastern Cameroon.
52,000 in eastern Cameroon?
Yeah, we are already at 15,000 hectares of community conserved areas.
Wow.
We created 30,000 of community conserved areas between Libielem and Upper Bayan. And so we are looking at transforming the riparian buffers on Mount Bamutus into community conserved areas. And so we're looking a little bit across the board. Once we do that, we're also looking at, we definitely support livelihoods, but the livelihoods don't come first.
Yes,
so,
it is a secondary.
Yeah, in Mount Bamutus, we're leading a 15-year initiative to restore the mountain, to improve on the livelihoods, and to raise the incomes of small farmers on this mountain from up by 400% income.
Now, sir, I understand that, be it a community forest, be it a sanctuary, whatever it might be, it is still for the interest of the people, and primarily for the people living in that particular area. Because it is not, we don't even get to, you as an individual, you don't get to benefit from it as the people living in it. But most times I understand that as an organization, when you take the idea to them, are they very receptive about it? Or they just see you like, some scammers who are coming to take away our land? Or how are you able to manage that?
Creation of protected areas is always full with conflicts.
Yes, as
and people know that government is coming to take away their land. So it's not like community forests where people know that they're the ones to manage. So wherever protected areas have been created, there's always a huge amount of conflict between the local people and the authorities involved in the creation of these areas.
Yeah.
So nevertheless, creation of protected areas or community conserved areas is highly participative. We cannot create without communities giving 95% of their call.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we always work hard to resolve conflicts. And we end up, because at the end of the day, the biggest security, the biggest police officers are going to be the community people.
Yes, the community, because you might set it up, you might go there for for monitoring, but you are not going to be there every time to monitor what actions are happening. Now that was a bit specific, but now as an organization, you definitely have challenges beyond creations of sanctuaries and all of that. What are some challenges you faced so far this year? Not this year, from its inception to 2024.
You have just made mention of conflicts. I think these conflicts are permanent so long as you are creating. Whether it was 24 years ago or now.
Oh, now.
When you create, conflicts are bound to exist. Some of these conflicts are fueled by elites.
Okay.
Generally fueled by elites.
And what is theirs inside?
They feel that first, elites have double interests. Apart from saying that they are members of that community, definitely their interests come to grab large quantities of those land for their self-interest.
Okay.
And when they see us protecting that, they think that their interest is going to be blocked.
And the truth is that if you stood there and an elite from the BLM, so the people will listen to their elite because they know that this person is of our best interest. Definitely.
The other issue challenge is funding. We don't have all the funding on earth. I think all along we have never been funded up to 50%.
Okay.
of all our budgets, and so funding is a big issue. So we are also looking how to overcome funding in the next 25 years. Funding is a big issue that does not only impair or hinder our work, but also many other organizations. I think both national organizations, local organizations to international organizations, the principal hindrance is funding.
Okay, now sir, that is maybe just the few of the problems you.
Yeah, of course, I cannot forget saying that the Anglophone crisis has helped cripple a lot of the work we have put together in the Billion Division.
And definitely, unfortunately, not only for you, for many other organizations and businesses.
Yes, in the Northwest, in the Southwest, our projects have seen disappeared by 90%.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But now, however, there is still hope with Erudef and many other organizations. Now we are 25. Things have happened. Things have changed. Now, what are we looking at for the next 25 years? What is Vision 2000 and is it 50? 2051?
Vision 2050. That is the next 25 years.
Next 25 years, yes.
Yeah, before then, you have to remember we created the Erudef University Institute.
The Erudef University Institute.
And this forum here on High TV is about the Erudef Biodiversity University.
Yes.
So it's one of the achievements we had created within the first 25 years.
I mean, at this point in time, that is a result. You don't only get to talk; you show the result. Like, okay, after this period of time, this is what we have been able to put forth.
Yeah. The next 25 years definitely will simply be about consolidating our achievements in the first 25 years.
Okay.
And providing long-term resilience. They should not fail. So the resilience, we are putting in place resilient mechanisms that will permit that these achievements, plus more that will be coming, will remain successful.
And I think that is one reason why the Erudef University is there, to train people who are able to, put those things into place.
The Erudef itself is going to, as we said, is going to be in West Africa, in East Africa, with office in Rwanda. It's in the Lake Chad Basin, in the Gulf of Guinea. And of course, for all of these things to survive, we need resources. Not just financial resources, we need human resources. And a lot of the human resources that come in from the public universities and other private universities don't meet our standards. Yes. And that's the reason why we decided to set up the Erudef Biodiversity University Institute. And this institute is going to produce the chunk of the human resources that we need.
Who are going to take over? Yes,
we have definitely, we will recruit from other universities, but I think the chunk of the human resources, experts, scientists, leaders, will be coming from the Erudef University by end of next 25 years. So we are setting up funds, what we call biodiversity funds. This will be consolidated in this next 25 years. And so we'll be having a multi-billion investments being put into place to consolidate these initial achievements we have had in the first 25 years. I want to say the first 25 years have been a lot more exploratory, trying to look at what trajectories we need to move on.
Then at this point in time, are there some decisions you took that you maybe regret them, you wish you had not done that, or some things you did not do that now you wish you had done them?
Leadership is all about rising and falling.
Okay.
Successful leaders are those who may have failed 51 times.
But they never stay down.
No, you don't stay down. So if you fall, it shouldn't be a regret. It should be a lesson learned.
Yeah.
We have gone through the crisis since 2017. That is one of the biggest regrets we have, not caused by us, but we have simply decided we are not going to back down.
We are not going to dwell on the past.
Yes. Of course, how we recruited human personnel It's probably one of the things we thought we may probably have not done the right thing.
Okay.
And we are now rethinking how to recruit the kind of people we need. And part of the rethinking is that we must train you from wherever you come in, you are coming from, you must go through our own certification program.
Yes.
If you don't go through it, I'm not sure we are going to actually sign in the paper for you. Because we have believed in the past that people coming from public universities, other universities, just have everything. But when they come and sign from, and they can come sign from you and tell you how they know everything.
Practically, they are down.
They know everything, but when you put them in action, there's trouble.
They are just the master everything, but
there's trouble. Up to people who pick up PhDs and come.
They are still lacking.
They are still lacking. It's a regret, yes, but Sultan, we think before we sign any permanent agreement with you, we have gone through the process of skill gap analysis and make sure you have all what we need. I think that's just one of the regrets, but it's a lesson learned.
It's a lesson learned, definitely.
Yeah, how we get money is also very critical. We have had mistakes in there. Again, we don't regret the lessons learned. And because we now need to start thinking that we need to grow a global perspective of raising money, we need to find ourselves in the donor market. That's why Erudef has been working to set up its offices in the donor market.
In different areas.
In the donor market, not in the project areas.
Okay, yeah, understood.
Donor markets means in the United States, in Canada, in Western Union, Europe.
The project.
Yeah, that's a donor market. So Erudef is going to put its boots there, effective 2025, and therefore it's going to contribute greatly. We have, of course, we founded Erudef on the basis of an African-led board, and most of Africans don't understand what charity is, what philanthropy is. They think that everything you do must be paid for.
Everything has a price.
Yes,
and
sometimes I don't blame them. I don't blame them.
Like the people, especially the local people,
Yeah.
even if you tell them it's free, they know, like, no, these people, they actually have other plans. They're going to be stealing from us more than they're going to give us.
Even up to professors in universities, they think the same like the local man in the village. It's unfortunate. Even the senior elite in the ministry still thinks the same as the person in the village. So
there is no difference.
No difference. So we are broadening and internalizing our boards across the different countries, bringing in people from different perspectives.
Yes.
Americans, Canadians, British, German, Netherlands, Dutch, so that the next crucial thing which we have to look at is sustainability. Beyond Nkembe Louis, what happens beyond Nkembe Louis? So by 2050, we have a standardized board that handles everything. I don't know whether I'll be there in 2050. I hope I should be there, but if I'm not, I do think there will not be any problem.
And even if you might be there, you might not be as active as you are. And now you definitely need people to consider the trip.
People say, beyond the founders, what's next?
What's next?
The organization crumbles. We have seen a lot of this happening. But I think we are going beyond.
There needs to be an aspect of sustainability.
Yeah.
Of, the legacy remaining even when you are not there.
Yes. And we also try to fight the fact that it's not a family business.
Yes.
Erudef is a public entity. So it's not going to be...
The fact that Erudef operates in different landscapes and not just Libya-Lem, I think that is already a proof that it is not only about, family or tribal or some kind of thing like that. Exactly.
So what are we planning? So these are some of the things we're looking into the next 25 years. We are going to consolidate all our landscapes. Make sure the mission of each landscape is achieved.
Yes.
For instance, creation of the 13,000 hectares of protected area of Mount Bamutus is one of the most complicated pieces of land that we can think of in order to create a protected area. But we are working on that gradually. It's going to take us more time than we ever anticipated. And we are looking at Lake Chad Basin.
Yes.
It's important to note here that the Lake Chad water may disappear in the next 50 years. and it's going to affect 45 to 60 million local people
Millions.
living in these 8 countries. So one of the greatest challenges we are working on is to make sure.
And every
that
time
this
we
doesn't
hear
happen.
of projects going on in those areas, how come things are not changing?
You can bring 1 million projects into a community, provided they don't target. If they don't target the root causes,
Yeah, definitely.
nothing happens.
You might be
Nothing
solving a
changes.
problem that is not even a problem to the people.
Exactly. So they are not tackling the water causes,
Okay.
but they are there to solve the water problem.
Now that
From 1964,
Yes.
the Lake Chad Basin Commission was created. You can count. It's
1964
it's
as of
60
now,
years
that
today.
should be, yes, more than 50
And
years.
the same problem has not changed. The volume of Lake Chad has decreased from over 25,000 cubic meters.
So contrary, things are instead getting worse.
Today
than
it's
they
less
were.
than 2,000 cubic km.
So what is happening?
So what has happened? That's what Erudef and its scientists wants to find out and provide a concrete solution. So it's challenging. We are not saying that the people who are there who have been
Yeah,
there
they've not been doing anything.
anything. We don't want to give a zero credit to them.
Yeah.
But I think they have not been touching the root causes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, we are 53 minutes past 5 and we are drawing a curtain so today's edition of the program. But before we go, I have a last question for you, Mr. Kimbi. Now, people are watching. You just say you never know who is watching. How can viewers support Erudef's mission?
Viewer can support Erudef mission by supporting the different entities of Erudef.
Yes.
The different projects. If you send your children to the Erudef University Institute to be
You are
trained
supporting.
as a next conservationist, as a next scientist, you are supporting Erudef.
Because that is the future.
Yes, that's the future. If you support these orphans and these hunters who are hunting in the forest of Indian, Manyo, the BLM, the hunters are there and Erudef is there to help remove all hunters from the forest into communities to change their livelihoods style. You are helping Erudef, you are helping the wildlife community.
Yes.
First, Erudef doesn't have territories defined called Erudef territories.
Yeah.
Erudef is working with all other stakeholders to solve common problems, killing of species. We want to reduce the species at risk, move them from risk to no more risk.
Yeah.
So any person who comes into help is helping Erudef and is helping conservation.
So at this point in time, we are the goal is to protect the endemic species. It's not about who does it.
It's not about who does
It's not
it.
about Erudef carrying the name like, okay, we're able to do this. It's just about, the mission and the goal.
Yes, even though for us to do it, we have carved constituencies.
Yes.
But then the constituency is just to help us raise money
Yeah.
and support people in those communities. If you support children in the embattled the BLM division or Indian division or in
That is the future.
Cambe division to go back to school, you are supporting Erudef. So it's not a private reserve for Erudef. Erudef is doing charity work.
Yes.
Charities that you are supporting causes that you are not expecting anything in return.
And you are not supporting the CEO.
You are not supporting CEO.
Because
No.
most people will think
No,
that way.
don't send money to say you are sending to CEO.
You are not
No.
supporting him.
You are not supporting me because there are people who are there to support me.
Exactly.
Whom I don't even know them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So we are coming up we are running our Jubilee
Yes.
from the 3rd of December
to the 7th.
through to 7th of December. On the 3rd of December, we're resembling all those who have passed through Erudef. We have been going through our database, and it was interesting to know that more than 200 people
Have passed
have
through.
worked in Erudef.
And they've never been the same.
And they have not been the same. And I was excited to find out that 68% of these 200 people are all globally
Wow.
located.
I mean,
I was smiling.
Most people come in with the goal of, okay, this is just an
Yeah.
opportunity for them to go out there.
Yes, so we're holding an alumni meeting with all of these people who have moved out, come into Erudef and went out of Erudef on the 3rd. And this meeting is going to be both remote and in person.
Okay.
We are holding this at the Women Empowerment Center in Boya. So if you have worked in Erudef even for 1 month, please, your alumni, if you don't receive an invitation from us, please be available at the Women Empowerment Center from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on the 3rd of December.
We should definitely mark those dates.
Yes. On the same day, from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., we are hosting a meeting of organizations like us working in Central Africa.
Because I believe you are not the only one. You don't operate as an individual.
Not alone. We're not an island. So we want to create a network of organizations working in Central Africa.
Okay.
And in the environment and in philanthropy. So we're meeting on that day to lay the groundwork. The next day, we're holding a round table to discuss the future of university education.
Yes.
And we are taking a mix of private higher institutes, a mix of public universities and foreign universities to discuss about the future of research, grants, and industrialship, mentorship in universities. We need to, we have said the area university wants to graduate all its graduates having jobs. This is going to be news. This has never happened anywhere in the world.
Creating jobs for themselves.
Creating jobs for themselves.
Not walking around and begging for jobs.
No, they will not want to be. They will not beg for jobs. So that will be one subject of the discussion. Discussing how that can happen. How to transform universities into research-based universities, into grant-based universities, into industrial entrepreneurship universities. There are very few of them in Africa.
Most of them might just have the names, but the results are not what they say.
So that is what the roundtable focus on. That will be in the Royal Palace Hotel in Bonabere, Douala. On the 5th, we are having a partners meeting. This is critical for us because we are bringing partners from all the fairs of the globe, nationally, to talk about the future of Erudef in terms of funding.
Very important.
It's companies, international organizations, corporations, donors, etc. will be either remote or in person, and we're going to spend the whole day trying to look at it. We'll use opportunity to create the Friends of Erudef Global. Friends of Erudef Global are those...
That is on the 4th in Douala.
On the 5th.
On the 5th,
are those people who have visited Erudef, not to work, to see what Erudef is doing, to support Erudef, morally, fiscally, financially. And we want to regroup them into a global platform, Friends of the Erudef Global. And we have to work together to define the next, to make sure the vision we're trying to put into place, Erudef 250, it's a reality.
Definitely.
Yeah. And on the 6th of December, we are having the symposium.
The symposium?
Yeah. Biodiversity in human-dominated landscapes. Cameroon is one of the few countries in Africa where less than 20% of the area is covered with forest and biodiversity. So it's highly populated. How do we succeed in managing biodiversity in human-dominated landscapes? That is the title of the symposium. And we are inviting university professors, lecturers, researchers, and students to send in abstracts.
Will that still be in Douala or?
That will still be at the Royal Palace Hotel in Douala.
Okay, so 2 days of the events will be in Douala.
3 days of the event.
3 days you have the round table,
the round table,
the symposium,
the partners meeting, and the symposium. So we're inviting colleagues from the university, from research institutes, students at the postgraduate level to send in abstracts. There will be best poster prizes, poster prizes, and oral presentation prizes. So we have all of those things there. And lastly, on the 7th, Saturday, December, we are in Boya Council Esplanade. And there everything will conclude with dances, with awards. 25 years, people have worked harder than others. They're going to receive awards, prizes. There will be dances, cultural dances from different corners of the country to showcase our diversity.
I also hear there is the awards for the women, the Kawi initiative.
Yes, the women in conservation. One branch of Erudef called the Center for the Advancement of Women Initiatives is promoting women in conservation.
The girl child.
The girl child, but this year is focused especially in the high school. So we want to see high school children who are in this contest bringing us wonderful initiatives, artwork, creative work, to, and they are going to win prizes that will be transformed into their scholarships to study in the university.
And when we talk of artwork, we talk of, you could do a poem, you could do, a drawing, a carving, or whatever you might call it. It could be a song, it could be drama, anything poetic, anything artistic rather, that portrays conservation, women in conservation. And I think, as he earlier mentioned, since it is targeting people for the university, that will, it mostly involves students of the high school, that is upper seed students who will be graduating this year, who will be having their advanced level this year. Okay, sir.
Passion to stay on the
Passion.
environment. Not that we give a scholarship and transfer to go and do chemistry.
Yes, and that is
No.
one thing that should drive you to do. You are not doing whatever you're doing, whatever artistic thing you're doing, be it a poem, a song, whatever you're doing. It shouldn't be because of the prize, because we said there are prizes. It is that should not be your goal. You should be passionate about whatever you are doing. Mr. Kembi, it has been a pleasure having you on today's edition of the program. It has been a pleasure having you on today's edition of the program. And of course, we are hoping the anniversary is coming up on the 2nd of December. We still have some time. We are going to be having probably your committee come here to talk about it again. But as of now, that is where we draw the curtains to today's edition of the program. And remember, admissions are still going on at the Erudef University Institute. We have very interesting programs. You could always go on their social media platforms, visit them to check out the programs, or their website, that is ibui.com. Feel free to ask questions, or